fans are making a lot of noise at AT&T Stadium.
Anything that move between these lines, gotta get dealt with.
They hand it to Pollard. He comes running out the right side. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5 to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
It took everything the Dallas Cowboys had to win this one at AT&T Stadium. Just the third time they finished undefeated at home throughout an entire NFL season, and they win this one in Week 17, 20-19, in a thriller in the penultimate week of the regular season. Welcome into Cowboys Game Night. We are inside AT&T Stadium following the one-point win for the Dallas Cowboys alongside Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. What a matchup this ended up being between two of the top teams in the NFC. It took everything the Cowboys had, but they got the job done.
Yes, sir. And talking to Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator, and Mike Solar, the offensive line coach, they say they needed this win. They needed it to boost after the blowout against Buffalo and the short one last week. They needed this win. And no matter how bad it looked, they are happy for this win and for their team.
Well, you talk about last week's game, whenever you felt like you needed a couple things to fall your way. Well, they did fall their way this time around, and the Cowboys improved to 11-5. Let's see how this one unfolded. It was a special night at AT&T Stadium. Jimmy Johnson being inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Both teams jockeying for playoff positioning inside the NFC. After a Detroit field goal, both teams traded some stops. Dallas needed some rhythm on offense, and they found it with Dak Prescott avoiding a sack and a safety, and he finds C.D. Lamb. 4 plus 88 equals 92 yards to the house.
That's right. One guy was lucky in getting away, and the other guy was lucky in falling down. And C.D. Lamb was a reception of 89 sweet yards.
Yeah, it's the second longest passing touchdown in Cowboys history. It's the longest for both Dak and CD. Fast forward into the second quarter, Dallas leading 7-3 after this magnificent play. Detroit driving, but not anymore. Jordan Lewis reads the Jared Goff pass. He undercuts David Montgomery, and he has the interception against his hometown team. Ensuing Dallas drive, Dallas at the 5-yard line. Dak Prescott finds C.D. Lamb again, who reaches for the end zone, but he loses the football. It's a touchback instead of a touchdown. Detroit gets the football.
Man, he was trying to make a play, we understand, but sometimes you just got to be a little bit smarter.
Detroit with the ball. They were forced to punt on the next drive, but not so fast either. This fake keeps the drive going, and the Lions continue driving into Dallas territory. They get all the way down to the 4-yard line, but faced with fourth down again. This time, Jared Goff's pass looking for Sam Laporta, and it's out of the back of the end zone as the Dallas defense holds. On to the second half after a Dallas punt. Detroit marches down the field in 13 plays, setting up David Montgomery for the 3-yard touchdown run. Detroit takes a 10-7 lead. However, Dallas would answer with a 51-yard Brandon Aubrey field goal to tie it on their next drive. Detroit would go down the field and kick a field goal of their own. They go up 13-10. So Dak and the Dallas offense looking for some fourth quarter magic. He sends this one on the right sideline for Brandon Cooks. Hello, Brandon Cooks. He makes an incredible grab and drags the feet for a huge gain.
Oh, man, that was a nice fade route. Look at there, man. And put his hands up at the last minute, get both feet down.
A few plays later, Dak looking for another target. Why not go back to Brandon Cooks? Back of the end zone, the catch is made. Dak's second touchdown pass, and Dallas takes the lead in the fourth. It's Cook's 7th score of the season.
I tell you what, he run this route to perfection. I think it's about the second time he scored on this route right here.
Detroit needs to put together a drive, but Donovan Wilson undercuts, and it's a huge interception that leads to a Dallas field goal. And this is when insanity would start to ensue. This interception from Donovan Wilson looked like the end of the ball game. Not so fast. Dallas, with that field goal, left time on the clock, and it was enough time for Detroit to go down and find Amon-Ra St. Brown at the pylon and a chance to go for 2 and win the game. Dan Campbell stays aggressive. It pays off. They have the tackle in Taylor Decker work open into the end zone, but there's a penalty marker, an eligible man downfield, so Detroit has to try it again, 5 yards back. It doesn't work out. Pressure up the middle, picked by Marquise Bell. Not so fast there. It's not the end of the ball game just yet. An offsides penalty on Micah Parsons pushes one more opportunity. This one, however, goes incomplete, and Detroit can't muster the game-winning 2-point conversion. Dallas holds on by the skin of their teeth at home at AT&T Stadium to win this one 20-19 as we take a look at some of the final stats brought to you by Miller Lite. The Cowboys had 323 passing yards, over 230 of those came from C.D. Lamb, who broke not only the single-season reception record, but the receiving yards record, set a new career high. He was phenomenal in this matchup. When we come back here on Cowboys Game Night, we're going to hear from one of the heroes on that defense. Donovan Wilson joins the show, and we get you ready for, of course, another big Cowboys win. 20-19, more Cowboys Game Night right after this.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Make every day game day with Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery. Play today for your chance to win big.
Welcome back into Cowboys Game Night following a 20-19 win for the Dallas Cowboys over the Detroit Lions. Back alongside Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans with Cowboy safety Donovan Wilson. Donovan, man, this was nerve-wracking all the way up into the end, but the defense got the stop they needed at the end to get the job done. Big interception for you in the fourth quarter. What was the key to getting the win? Let's fix your mic here real quick. Let's get that back up there so that way we can hear. The people can hear it. What was the key to getting the win?
Just trusting each other, depending on your brother when it came into that crunch time moment, and paid off.
And it seemed like you guys really relied on each other in that moment. What was some of the communication back and forth?
We just preached complimentary ball, and it paid off. We fed off the offense, defense fed off the offense, fed off the defense, vice versa.
You know, when we look at this game, man, it was back and forth. It was back and forth. As guys, and I know you're telling each other, believe in one another, man. But what were you telling them defensive backs, man? What were you saying to them to hold them together?
I was just saying we got to do right longer. Just do right longer.
Oh, yeah.
That's big time, and you needed to do right all the way up until the final play of the game. Take me through the interception, though. What did you see on that play, and what made it successful?
Got a good pass rush up front, and I got a good read off the QB, made a good break, and Cowboys dub.
When's the last time you had an interception? Do you remember?
Man, it's been a year.
Been a little bit. You forced some fumbles. Yeah. That's been big. But interception-wise, you haven't had a chance to break on a ball.
Definitely,
like
I've been long overdue for one.
You had last week and the week before a little bit of disappointment, man. To have this win here, what does that feel? What does that feel like?
This is a playoff caliber team. This is the type of dub that we need going into the playoffs. It just shows that we can compete in a way to bounce back.
It was a big bounce back. Yeah. Now, how do you keep this momentum moving forward into the final week of the regular season? And then again, when you start seeing playoff caliber teams like that?
Well, just building off of it, going to practice ready to work this week and putting together a good game plan and ready to go again Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, or Saturday. That's true. We don't know yet. We got to figure that one out, too. Could be a short week. Who knows? Any big New Year's plans for you guys? Just resting up, getting ready?
Get ready.
Ready
to make this playoff run.
That's always big.
So when do y'all report back? Tuesday?
We'll be ready tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
We'll be ready tomorrow.
I like that.
Yeah.
With kind of a veteran mindset, you've been around this team for a couple of years now. I mean, how much has that helped you and the guys around you in order to have that communication down the stretch?
Just really being able to prepare throughout the week and then bringing it to game day just helped me out a lot.
And what's the biggest lesson you've learned whenever it's come to playoff time around this time of year?
Just the tempo of the game. It speeds up, being able to play fast for it.
What are you looking at in Washington next week? Familiar opponent.
Yeah. We're just trying to see where we're going to be at, and then we're going to take it the same way we go day by day, practice by practice, be ready to work on game day.
Anything else?
Anything, man. Thank you for showing up, my brother.
No problem. Appreciate y'all.
Big time.
Yeah, great play there at the end. Congratulations on the win, and go get them again next week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
There he is, safety Donovan Wilson joining us here on Cowboys Game Night. We have more post-game and locker room reaction coming your way next.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Make every day game day with Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery. Play today for your chance to win big.
Back inside AT&T Stadium following a 20-19 win for the Cowboys over the Detroit Lions. Back alongside Nate Newton, we now have Cowboys linebacker Deone Clark joining us. Deone, first off, congratulations on the win. It took a lot for this defense down the stretch. Just 19 points allowed against a really good Lions offense. What was the key to getting it done?
Man, we just had to stick together. That was playoff atmosphere football right there. You know, Coach McCarthy already told us that before the game even happened. He was telling us that throughout the week. This is a playoff atmosphere. And, you know, when the defense had to stand up, we did. It was ugly, but we stood up. It was ugly.
when this thing was going back and forth, offense, defense, man, what were you telling your guys at the linebacker position? How were you trying to keep these guys motivated?
I mean, we knew, like, obviously Detroit liked to run the ball. You know,
Right.
They had to hold their hand on running the ball, you know, and it was, you know, we got to get better with the run. You know, and we just telling them, man, we just got to stick together because obviously we knew what they wanted to do. You know, we just tried to make them one dimension by making them pass the ball. But if you don't make a team, you know, if you don't stop the run, then obviously the team's going to keep doing that.
What's the biggest challenge with that? And a team that likes to run downhill, the physicality that Detroit brings, it's a rarity in the NFL nowadays and a big reason why they've won 11 games. But how does that bring a challenge upon your position and then the guys around you?
I mean, obviously, you know what the team doing. They telling you what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? They just want you to go out there and you got to stop it. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, we know, you know, obviously we got Washington next week.
Yes.
And we know the playoffs right there around the corner, but we know teams going to hold their head on running the ball.
Look at here, man. Not once, not twice, but 3 times they tried y'all. And y'all held y'all ground, man. Was it anything just special in the huddle y'all was saying just to hold y'all ground there at the end of the game to close it out?
We just said, man, stick together, play our game. You know, we said, bro, we're going to make the play. When it's time for a stop, the defense knew we was going to make that play. We was like, bro, just go out there, be you.
All right.
How much does that build confidence when a team and a coach deliberately look at this defense and say, we're going to try and go win the game, and you guys don't allow that to happen?
Obviously, you know, like I said, man, that was a great game today.
No doubt.
You know, that was a great game today, and obviously we knew coming in, we knew what they was going to do, and it wasn't no surprise with what they did. I'm just so happy that we got the win. Obviously, we got to clean it up and get ready for Washington, but it was a great win. Celebrate this one, but obviously we know we got a lot of work to do if we want to get to it. Well, we know we're going to get where we want to go. We got a lot of work to do, and we're going to get it.
Were you surprised that they went for it 3 straight times?
Nah. Nah, I mean, once they went for it the first time, you like, bro, like.
Might as well, right?
Why not? You know that just speaks on the type of coach that they have. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, they play hard tonight, you know.
What have you learned about this team over the last 3 weeks? 2 losses against really good opponents and then a win against a really good opponent.
Man, we just stick together all the time. You know, we know on our journey, we know it's going to be bumps and bruises. You know, we stuck together. You know, obviously last week, man, the guys stuck around me last week because I feel like I took a big part in grabbing the face mask, making that crucial mistake last year. And in the locker room, man, the guys stuck with me, and that's something that I'll never forget. Because they stuck with me. They was like, man, we got hella football left, man. We got a lot of ball.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, that touched my heart, man, because I'm like, dang, you know, I knew we wanted that one, and we had it, you know, and we let it slip away at the end. But the guys, like, we always stick together. You know, it's never like, oh, it's his fault, it's his, man. We like, hey, we win as a team, we lose as a team. And honestly, I think that brings us even closer. Like, we're a really close team, and I think, and I know, like, us having that adversity along the way, it brings us closer together.
Yes.
Does that remind you of some of the guys you used to play with back in the day?
It's always about being together, man, and no matter what happens, we're going to do this thing together, man. We sure appreciate you stopping by.
No doubt about it. Yeah,
minutes,
appreciate you, Deone.
Yes.
Congratulations on the win, and go get them against Washington next week.
Thank you, sir.
There he is, Deone Clark, joining us here on Cowboys Game Night. More Cowboys Game Night after the 20-19 win right after this. Welcome back into Cowboys Game Night from AT&T Stadium. We've now caught up with Donovan Wilson, we've gotten up with Deone Clark, and we have Marquise Bell, another member of this Dallas defense that holds the Lions to 19 points and gets some crucial stops down the stretch. I mean, Marquise, this was one of the more exciting games, I think, of your career. Take us through those final moments and some of the communication among that defense.
Just, you know, an intense moment in the game, a very important moment in the game. So we just telling each other, you know, it's time to step up. You know, we've been doing it all game, and this is the most important moment. So, like, we had to step up for our team, and, you know, we went out there and did that.
With this thing going back and forth the way it was, man, was it anything that somebody was saying just to keep you guys going in the right direction, man, to keep you guys focused?
Not just one person, just everybody in general, just saying just stay in it. Just stay down. You know, we still got a lot of football to play. There's a lot of players out there still to be made. And, you know, we went out there and made them, and we had the outcome that we had.
Now, with a game like this, both Donovan and Deone talked about playoff caliber football. you've seen some playoff caliber football, not only last year, but of course in the 3 straight games this year. What's been the difference to getting the job done this week as opposed to what happened in the previous 2 weeks?
Just honing in on our execution. Everybody doing their job. Everybody doing their 1/11th on the field, and just holding everybody accountable like we're supposed to, upholding our standard that we come in every day, say we're gonna out-hit everybody that we play, and we've been coming to do that.
This is a little weird, man. This dude is 6'3", 200 and what?
10.
And this dude played Mike linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. How do you maneuver through all that massive humanity?
I get a lot of help from the guys up front, a lot of help from the guys on the outside. When you get surrounded by great players, it's easy to lose track of, some guys all the time. So
yeah.
I play behind those guys, and, they allow me to make plays.
That's a second-year linebacker, or second-year player, NFL player, and a first-year linebacker for the most part. He sounds like a veteran there whenever he's talking about the teammates around him. Now, Marquise, you have had to make that switch from the safety position to the linebacker and play a lot of that hybrid back and forth. What's been the number one challenge for you this year whenever having to make those switches?
Just staying consistent, finding a process, just honing in on that process every week. And just watch film, get with the guys, build my confidence as I, grow into this role, and just go out there and just believe in the God-given abilities that I've gotten, and, just have faith.
Who are some of those guys that you've relied on in those moments to make sure that you stay successful?
The better question would be who I don't rely on. Everybody on the defense, it's a family. Like, we're so close, like, the bond is so, like you can't even explain it. So, like, just being around that group of guys and having that energy, having that feel, like, that just makes you want to play better, makes you want to, hone in on the little details so you don't let the guy next to you down.
So we've got Florida A&M and Florida A&M.
Rattlers.
Any words for him and how proud he's made you in these moments?
Hey, man, I know it's hard on you crossing 635, going out there on the tollway, but be safe, because them big linemen, bro, scare me to death.
He's getting in the middle of the traffic a little bit more than normal. Marquise, we appreciate you taking some time. Before we let you go, what's the number one goal for this defense going into the final week of the regular season?
Keep standing on business. Keep doing what we're doing. Keep out hitting everybody we play. And, we're going to get the goal that we want at the end.
Love it. That's about as good of an answer as you could give. Marquise Bell joining us here on Cowboys Game Night. When we come back, we're going to wrap things up and send you into the final week of the regular season. More from AT&T Stadium right after this.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
20-19, the final score from AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys take down the Lions. They have now secured either the 5 seed or the 2 seed if the Cowboys do end up winning out. And of course, Philly falls and Dallas ends up as division champions. But we'll have to wait until the final week of the regular season to decide who wins the NFC East. Back alongside Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans wrapping up on Cowboys Game Night. Nate, we were talking about it in the break. You were on the borderline of giddy just of how exciting this win was. How big was this for the Dallas Cowboys?
A blowout by Buffalo, a close one last week by Miami. I talked to Coach Mike Solar, the offensive line coach, and the defensive line coach, Deone, the defensive coordinator, and they needed this win. He said his team, the offensive line, the defensive line, needed this win. It was a big win. Yes.
And it was another game where the defense showed up and played well throughout all 4 quarters, and they got a big stop at the end. We got to catch up with 3 of those defenders as well. We're back at it next week. We don't really know when. We could play on Saturday. We could play on Sunday. The NFL will release that early in the week. We'll get to see how this NFC East will roll out as Dak Prescott. Hey, what's up, Dak? What's going on? We'll see you guys next week on Cowboys Game Night.